Hi, welcome to the bathtub. When you hear this, our only remaining theme song. And we stop it really quick because we haven't been sued by the Gene Vincent estate yet, but we're hoping not to be because we've lost all of our theme songs through litigation. Because people they threaten to sue us for all that we own, all the money that comes from the bathtub. These are my dirty socks. How many times you get to watch Dirty Socks YouTube? That's Dirty Socks. I'm going to put them on. Yeah, this is the special show. I'm getting ready to go out, and I'm trying to film a couple of these pretty quick today in the cruel light of day, unpixelated water, no tech or low tech, about as low tech as we can get around here. Putting on our socks. These are manual. I'm putting them on manually. I'm not using the high tech sock equipper that I got from Acme devices. And we're going to do a very quick New-Bop-A-Lula. It's called New-Bop-A-Lula. The song's called Beagle. But beforehand, I might want to show you guys something interesting. You know, you haven't seen Dodo around lately. I think she's getting a little better, but she went through a brooding thing. She had somehow the light and the sun. I've been doing things wrong or something. So anyway, she thought it was time to produce eggs. And I thought you might like to see this because you guys look at this. Isn't that beautiful? It's perfect. My wife wants to make omelets out of them, but I'm not going to do that. Anyway, she's had 3 eggs. We're hopefully going to get her to stop doing this. So she has to go to bed early, and not as many mirrors. That's the theory we got from the doctors. Anyway, she's doing fine. She's recovering. She's really happy and quite seems healthy, and hopefully she's not going to lay any more eggs. Not because it's terrible, but it can actually lead to problems. You don't need to know any of this. Anyway, let's get back to the new books. I don't have a huge stack of new books, but they're big books, and I wanted to get them off the shelf because I didn't have any room to put my books I'm reading. We have the first one is a cool. We got these from Seth Davis. We've talked about my old friend Avram Davidson. Avram Davidson, and these are 2 volumes that his stepson, Seth, has been producing. Seth kind of become single-handedly this kind of champion for Avram's work, and he kind of sort of almost discovered his stepfather's work, or godfather. I'm sorry, it says godfather. I get those confused. His godfather, and his Seth's mom was Avram's previous wife, and they were very close still throughout their lives. This is something cool that Seth put out. He's done a great job bringing out all of Avram's old books. He's been recovering all these stories, recovering old novels. We talked about Beer on one of the episodes. We'll talk more about Avram's work. But for now, and I don't know what the prices are, but he always asks like pretty reasonable prices. This is a 2-volume. It's called AD 100, 100 Years of Avram Davidson. And it is this incredible labor of love by Seth and the people who work with him on these, that he has recovered 100 unpublished stories and essays. Avram was a prolific son of a bitch. He was always working. It was always kind of filled with some brilliance in it. And he's brought out these 100 stories in 2 big fat volumes. You can get the ebooks. If you keep an eye on, learn to check out the Avram Davidson Facebook page. I think it's called the Avram Davidson Universe. They'll often announce free books and free volumes. But these 2 they sent us. This was a great surprise. We really loved this. We haven't read many of them yet. There's like a mix of kind of, just kind of odd little weird little pieces that Seth has recovered, and then some kind of interesting stories that I remember. I remember some of these stories as being quite good ones. Bumper Boom, I remember that story when it came out, that just have never been collected or properly reprinted in editions. 2 volumes. I don't know what the price is, but they're going to be great. Another cool one. We're really big fans of Tachyon Publishers too. We haven't read hardly anything of Tachyon's, but we can tell they're really good. This is a friend of Avram's. This kind of came in that same week. They're beautiful 2 volumes of the Essential Peter Beagle. Now, if you guys know Peter Beagle, you might know The Last Unicorn, or the first Peter Beagle book I read, which was called A Fine and Private Place. Hold on. Let me get some of these. I'm sure I've got them here. Everything is worked out to a T here. This whole show is produced. Okay, I can't find the last unicorn, but this is one of my favorites. When I was a kid, I loved this book, A Fine and Private Place. There's that beautiful Valentine book again. Look at that wraparound cover. It's about a ghost who lives in a man who lives in a cemetery. I can't remember the story. And he has a crow, intelligent crow. Anyway, as a kid, I thought this was a magical book. And he wrote the book called The Last Unicorn, which has been made into a film. I've never seen any of those, but I loved them when I was about 14. I don't know almost any of this other work by Peter Beagle, but Lilo the Werewolf got very good reviews when it came out, and they're just beautiful books. I think they're just, if you're into fantasy, interested in fantasy, those are gorgeous. Okay, here we just finished doing we did 3 top 10-ish lists of most reread books, and one I left off was To the Lighthouse, my favorite Virginia Woolf book. And Penguin, these are kind of cool gifts. They're a bit expensive, $28 for that, but I like these. And they're really nice, beautiful kind of editions of old classics. And this is one of the saddest. It's a beautiful book. It's very sad. It's one of the saddest books about just loss and losing a whole past, losing your whole world is what To the Lighthouse, to my mind, is about. And I used to teach this in classes, and I read it many times as a teacher, but I enjoyed it as a reader. This is a book I have no idea what the hell this is. Laura Tillman. I know that name from somewhere, and I don't know why, but this is called The Migrant Chef, The Life and Times of Lalo Garcia. That's nonfiction. I found this on the shelf. I had no idea I'd even gotten it, but it's published by Norton, and it seems to be a kind of nonfiction book about some guy who is a chef who traveled. I don't know anything about it. Anyway, but it looks kind of cool. If you're interested in cooking or chef or histories, I don't know. Check it out on the websites. I wish I'd looked at it more, but I just didn't even know I had it. Finally, and then we'll shut up for this New-Bop-A-Lula. I either forgot to put the books aside, or I didn't have as many as I thought. This is from our friends at Centipede Press. I'm kind of proud to be a part of this volume. It's the 7th volume of collected short fiction by R.A. Lafferty. He is incomparable. I know that phrase is overused, but you cannot compare him to anybody. Maybe Avram Davidson there's affinities between him and Avram Davidson, and G.K. Chesterton is clearly a bit of an influence, and I see a lot of Flann O'Brien in him, though I don't know if he knew Flann O'Brien's work. Really fantastic, weird, eccentric stories that everyone is different from every other one, and he spent a whole lifetime writing them. He's going to become I think his reputation is on the rise right now, as it probably should be. And I did the introduction for this. It was possibly one of my last personal essays about reading books, and when I read him when I was a teenager, and probably one of the last ones I'll write, simply because I can't remember anything more about my life I could possibly write about. Anyway, there's some cool books there, mainly kind of fantasy SF with speculative fiction, and we'll have some more stuff coming in soon. I'll do another New-Bop-A-Lula soon. Okay. That's everything we had in the shelves. I can now have somewhere to put my denaturized unalcoholic cocktails. Stay safe.